Hi everyone, I'm here with Athen Fisher, the owner of Love Story Therapy in Chandler. With everything going on in small businesses needing special shout outs, I wanted to support my sister and the owner of this amazing new therapy resource in Chandler. She's going to introduce herself to you in 1 second, but she's a certified emotionally focused therapist, and she's also a licensed marriage and family therapist. And it makes her a real asset to our community. So let's start off. And Athen, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on, Taylor. It's awesome to be here and talk a little bit about mental health today. And yeah, I've been in the field for about 11 years. I majored in psychology at ASU, and then I went on to the master's program in marriage and family therapy there. And then I had been, I worked with adults, children, and families in community mental health at agencies for 6 years, and then I've been in private practice the past 5 years. And my focus is couples and individuals, and also family relationships.
Awesome. Well, yeah, you have a really rich history and experience level in the field. I only wish you weren't related to me so I could go to you.
I know we just can't see family. Otherwise, I'd have quite a bit of more clients.
The family joke is
Yeah,
Athen.
we all know how.
The family joke is that Athen could be independently wealthy just off of our family services. She could see it all. So, but nonetheless, she's doing very well. So what we're talking about, you already kind of brought up, but is how to manage emotions and coping skills to cope more healthfully in these times when there's a lot of uncertainty, unknowns, a lot of anxiety, things like that. So I'd love to pick your brain on that. I know you did a really awesome video on your Instagram the other day, so that got me thinking that this could be a great topic to touch on.
Yeah.
So, in your experience, what are you currently seeing going on with COVID, and what are you sensing in the community of how people are feeling and how it's affecting them?
Yeah, well, very important topic right now in our world and society. The majority of people I'm seeing are actually ranging between two different emotions or two different kind of sets of polar opposites, or what seemingly would be very different ends of the spectrum. So the range is usually on one end, there's the gratitude and the joy and the gratefulness for slowing down and spending maybe more time with family and home and a little bit of a slower pace, and being grateful for that. And then the other end of the spectrum, which is also very prevalent, is depression, loneliness, anxiety. It's really about this sense of grief and loss over losing our sense of normalcy, our connections, everyday life, even the people like we don't think of as integral pieces of our life always, but they really are, like the person we drive through and get our coffee from every day, and the teachers at our kids' school that we say hi, or the other parents, or our colleagues that we might just have a quick chat with in the office. So those little things that we're really missing. Our hairstylists, any of that, it's all been stripped away so suddenly. So the grief and loss over that is really what the majority of people are grappling with. But again, I think it is that range. There's those two different sides. And what I think is hard for people to grasp, or sometimes for me too, is like, okay, either this way or that way. I'm either, in this category, I'm grateful and I'm looking for joy and I'm trying to get things done and be productive during this time, or I'm, down and depressed and lonely and struggling. And what I think the reality is, it's a mix of those for most people. It's a blend. And often it can change from moment to moment, hour to hour, day by day. You could be in a really up place and a lower place. You could feel really good and productive and hopeful. And then later that day or the later in the week, you might be dealing with a lot more loss and feel pretty down and low energy. So all of that is completely normal and within the range of, very normal responses to this pandemic and the loss of control all of a sudden that we all have in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, and from a personal perspective, I range in all those different emotions, and it's kind of day to day, it changes. So that's also good to hear that other people are experiencing the same things. So given what people are experiencing, what would you suggest, or what are some tips or suggestions on how people can cope with these pretty big feelings that and experiences they're going through? How can they cope in a more healthy way, and even maybe ways that they could lessen the power that these emotions have over their life, so that they can, kind of move forward in a positive way if possible?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So first, the most important part, I think, is to, again, I want to start with normalizing. I'm a therapist. I have a lot of therapist friends. We help people with emotions, with issues all the time, yet we struggle ourselves. There's a whole range of ups and downs that I go through as well. So that's completely normal. So just having some knowledge of a few things to do is super helpful. It doesn't take away, and that's what I hope people can leave with, a little bit of tips for what to do. It won't take away that you have the different emotions, because that's the human experience. We're all going to go through different things, and our body and hearts and minds tell us something for a reason. They're normal responses to all of this, but there's some ways to lessen the power. Yeah. So first, I think, just acknowledge the emotions and know that it's normal, that you're feeling that way. It's probably a normal response. And then try to see if you can identify and name the emotion you're feeling. Usually there's one predominant one, it might be a couple at the same time. It could be more than two, but just try to name the emotions that you're going through and feeling in the moment. It's also really helpful if you can pinpoint that into your body, how your body is feeling. So often if I'm feeling stress or anxiety, that might be the emotion I'm kind of having come up the most, for instance, right now. And if I slow down a minute and breathe and maybe close my eyes and try to just pinpoint where that is in my body, it's probably showing up for me in my chest, maybe tightening my chest, heaviness probably on my shoulders. So pinpointing that. So I'm naming it, I'm finding where it is in my body, and then processing it, letting it somehow move through me. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. It could be taking, breaths in and just kind of letting some of that emotion out as you breathe in and out. It could be going for a walk. Exercising is a really good way, because if you have enough of the energy you can get yourself to, because it's going to process some of the, feelings and emotions and hormones through you, and you release that way. You can also call a friend, text someone, reach out to someone that's, a confidant, or someone that is going to be supportive. You could write, create art, and you could see your therapist, talk to them, get some support in whatever way you can. So there's, a lot of options, ranging from really super simple to more professional sources of support that you can reach out to. But just moment by moment, it's really about just naming the emotion, recognizing it's normal, and then finding some way to kind of process it out. And once you do that, it just reduces the power it has over you. You still feel it, but it doesn't have so much power to control and take over your whole day or all the room and space you have in that day and moment. So
yeah, that's pretty significant, the whole naming your emotion, because
Mhm.
it's something you don't think about, but until you really recognize what that is, it's very hard to really address that or even figure out what you need to do to like move through that emotion. And I think it's really, yeah, it's a great thing to be emotionally aware of what you're feeling. um, it seems
Mhm.
simple, but it's hard when you try to do it and actually
Yeah.
name them. But what, and yeah, it can really be super helpful. Um,
Yeah. I think naming the emotion just helps us regulate ourselves. It kind of helps the emotion regulate. And then it also is like, as much as we want usually from other people to validate how we're feeling and understand, it's important for us as ourselves to slow down and acknowledge how we're feeling. So
yeah,
naming it is basically telling ourselves and our emotion, hey, I see you, I hear you, you're there. I'm noticing you and understanding what it is that's going on,
yeah,
which actually can really lower the energy, the stress level in a good way.
good. That's a great tip. I'll have to be extra aware this week to implement that my own self. Speaking of us people at home that have children, whether we're working parents like you and myself, or you're home with your kids and you have more children home than normally you do because school's not being in. There's a lot of people who are really struggling on a day-to-day basis with being flooded with overwhelm and all sorts of things. What do you have for people in that situation on how they can particularly move through this, and even their children through this and this time?
Yeah, no, that's so relevant and such a daily struggle. And I guess source of potentially struggles and wins, a mix. My biggest piece of advice with that is to know, well, first of all, you're not alone if you're listening to this. Obviously, you and I are both saying we're feeling the same struggles. It's hard. So that piece is again really important. No, you're not alone. It's hard for everyone. Um, and so I think having realistic expectations is super important. So, um, and not comparing yourself to others or maybe what you think others are doing based on their social media or their brief text. So I think it's easy to see people like, oh, they're crushing it. They're making all this really healthy food, or they're working out, or they're doing projects with their kids, or, you know, all this stuff, which that's great. They're doing that for a certain amount of time, but you're not seeing the whole range of their whole day. And just like they're not seeing the whole range of yours. So I think lowering expectations right now, understanding we're in the midst of a global pandemic, we're supposed to socially isolate and distance, which is not human nature, and we thrive on connection. We're wired for connection. Our brains need it. So we are being asked to do something that isn't natural for us at all as humans and as a species. So we naturally, I think, just need to lower expectations. We're going to have a hard time. This is going to be hard. We're going to probably be a lot more short-tempered, frustrated, irritable, quicker to snap than normal. And so are our kids. So is our partner or spouse if we have one. And that's just something I think we just need to have kind of this general awareness. Like, okay, we're all under more stress than we recognize, and we're all going through such change, even if we aren't noticing it exactly in the moment. Like our kids and ourselves, we're losing our routine and our sense of normalcy, which is what creates that sense of safety for all of us. And since we lost that sense of safety, we're trying to establish new ones, but it's not the same. So just, I think one of the most helpful things for me that I've been doing and I've been talking to clients about doing is just focusing on one win each day. So one win in the area of family, work, and with yourself personally. So if you can find a way, which basically is just jotting it down or putting it in your phone, like, okay, if I can spend an hour with schoolwork with my kids and give them my focused attention and we can do this project, that's a win there. If I can have a win with myself, give myself like 10 minutes to do a stretch or take a shower or do a workout video, okay, there's a win. And then with family, if I can, ask people how they're doing and maybe check in with my partner and show some support in that way, okay, great. So picking just small ways to feel, because when we don't feel the sense of wins, and we set the bar too high, we end up feeling frustrated and down on ourselves. And setting really small goals that we know we can realistically do will lead us with a sense of accomplishment and more hopefulness and positivity.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. I've done that, I think, more this week, where it's like I kind of had a self-talk about, okay, you're setting way too high expectations. This is really unrealistic for yourself and for your kids. Pick some things that I'm going to do. And if we accomplish them, I feel like we've had like a golden day. And at the end of the day, it's a lot of the things on our to-do list are not really important in the scheme of it.
Yeah. And if you don't get it all done, let it go. Even schoolwork. Schools, you kind of have to take your own family and your own situation into consideration. Do what you can do. And the rest of it, can wait, or it can be tomorrow, or, but this is, I also think the last thing I would say about that is give yourself a reward too, to look forward to each day. Like whether that's a cup of coffee or a glass of wine at the end of the day, or some hot tea or a bath, or, a book, or binge watching some, show, even junk TV, trashy stuff, something. Give yourself some sort of an escape and a reward, because this is hard. And if you accomplish these small wins, then you deserve it. So treat yourself.
Okay. Well, I'll take that one too. Well, thank you so much, Athen. I know we could probably talk for hours on different topics and how to help, cope with everything going on, and then just normal life after this and beyond this. But thank you for sharing your knowledge. And how can people find you? What's your Instagram handle? What's your contact info?
Yeah. So my practice is Love Story Therapy, and I'm at lovestorytherapy.com. My Instagram is at Love Story Therapy, and I have a Facebook page, Love Story Therapy for couples and individuals. So they can find me there, and any resources or way I could be helpful as a support is great. And I'm also offering telehealth online video appointments, so you can have sessions in the comfort of your own home and complete all the paperwork and everything electronically. And then at some point it'd be awesome to meet in person again. But yeah, that's how I'm adapting my practice right now.
So you're an old pro at these Zoom calls or whatever you use.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I've been learning quickly. So thanks for having me on here. It's awesome that you're supporting your, other small businesses.
Yeah, of course. We're all here to support each other, and that way we can try to, make sure people are still thriving in the best way that they can right now, even though it's a weird time. But yeah, I hope everyone supports local, and thank you so much. I'll make sure to link all of your information too in the post that we do, so people can find your contact info easily, because I'm sure people are going to want to find you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Be healthy, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.